At 3,000 feet above New York City, a passenger plane suddenly lost both engines. There was no time to panic. Below the aircraft were millions of people, crowded streets and buildings everywhere. Inside the cockpit, two pilots faced an impossible choice: find a place to land or risk losing everyone on board. The passengers had no idea they were about to become part of aviation history. In just a few minutes, a routine flight would become one of the most unbelievable survival stories ever recorded. A plane would fall from the sky, a river would become a runway, and 155 people would discover that a miracle was possible. On January 15th, 2009, passengers boarded a routine flight, expecting nothing more than a short trip across the United States. The aircraft took off normally, the passengers relaxed, and the crew prepared for a quiet journey. Nobody knew that within minutes they would face a situation that had never happened before in modern aviation. High above the city, the aircraft climbed into the sky, carrying 155 people who believed they would arrive safely at their destination. But fate had other plans. Shortly after takeoff, the plane struck a flock of birds. The impact damaged both engines, causing them to lose power. Suddenly, the aircraft became almost silent, except for the alarm sounds inside the cockpit. The pilots quickly realized they had very limited options. The city below was filled with buildings, roads, and people. A normal landing was impossible. The crew had only seconds to make a life or death decision. The pilots searched for a place to land. Returning to the airport was no longer possible. Landing on a highway was too dangerous. Ahead was the Hudson River. The captain made the decision to attempt an emergency water landing. It was a choice that required incredible skill, calmness, and courage. Everyone on board prepared for what they thought might be their final moments. The aircraft approached the water at a controlled speed. The plane touched the river and skidded across the surface, staying intact. Against all expectations, the aircraft remained floating. The passengers were shocked, but alive. The pilots had successfully performed one of the most difficult emergency landings in aviation history. Within minutes, rescue boats arrived. Passengers stood on the wings of the aircraft while waiting for help. The cold winter air surrounded them, but everyone remained calm. Ferries, emergency crews, and ordinary people rushed to help. A disaster had turned into a story of survival. All 155 people on board survived. The event became known around the world because of the courage and teamwork displayed that day. The pilots, flight attendants, rescue workers, and passengers all played a role. It was not just a story about an airplane. It was a story about preparation, leadership, and staying calm when everything seems impossible. The emergency landing became known as one of aviation's greatest survival stories. It reminded the world that even in the most terrifying moments, human courage can create miracles. A normal flight became a historic event. A disaster became a symbol of hope.